Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and welcome to World War Mode Season 3. The road to packet loss. So, first off, big congratulations to AmFam. You guys have done it again. I definitely know that I won't have enough time to command battles the way I'd like to, and so I'll try to offer as much advice as I can, keeping in mind that I'm a little bit out of the loop, but I've also really enjoyed fighting alongside you on the field of battle, and congratulations on your win today. So, let's talk a little bit of strategy before we get into the experience in battles. And I know this is for less of an audience, but I think it's interesting anyway. First off, playing as Germany. I don't have all that many high-tier Soviet vehicles or USSR vehicles, so I'm gonna stick with Germany for this half of the event. Helicopters. Capable of picking up ground infantry units the same way that transport boats could pick up units when those are available. How useful they are, up for debate. First off, the helicopters that you have access to for this game mode do not have capable anti-aircraft weaponry, so you will get shredded by the various flavors of MiG if they decide to intercept you. That means that you're far better served using your helicopters to support ground battles that either do not have enemy air cover or that have allied aircraft to counter the threat. In the absence of that, it does somewhat work to quickly get over your own ground forces and get some anti-aircraft support from your spawn. Now, a little bit of look at what I'm talking about, and I'll talk a little bit more about tactics as well. First off, you can hear the sounds of enemy jets, and so we quickly flew at low altitude with enemy jets streaking by overhead and thankfully not noticing us up until this point. And now we're a little bit closer to some air support, as well as enemy aircraft. We're definitely in the hot seat now. Bo 105. This is the first time that I've actually flown this helicopter in ground battles, so I had a surprisingly enjoyable experience overall with this helicopter, thanks to its fantastic maneuverability and the tactics that I ended up employing. On top of that, 8 ATGMs with a 3-kilometer range is just enough to put some hurt down on some enemy BMPs. I had really rough experiences with the servers, and that shows a bit in this video, but I cannot overstate the situation. The server issues that Gaijin has been having lately have been amplified in World War Mode, and it's a problem, but it's not insurmountable, except for the fact that for the entire last hour of World War Mode, the servers were lagging so badly that I wasn't even able to get into a single battle. So that's a thing. Hopefully that will be better later today. We'll just have to see. Overall, my experience has been great with the new game mode, other than the server issues. I really enjoyed these, what do you call it? battles where one force is not the same as the other. War Thunder has never been a balanced game, so to add a metagame reason for the imbalance of force, as well as a reward for making progress regardless of the odds in terms of progress on the overall campaign, really helps with that feeling of being outgunned. A quick note on tactics overall. Helicopters tend to do well against everything except SPAA and MBTs. The number of MBTs in enemy armies is fairly small. They're outnumbered quite a bit by IFVs, which would be the what are they called? The little flat boys for the Soviets. BMPs, that's right. And helicopters do fantastically well against them. And most tanks do well against IFVs if they have a good look at them before the enemy gets a shot. And most of what we're about to take out here with our UN-approved peeking techniques, most of these are AI. So it helps us win the match, or it helps us lose the match more gracefully, and it doesn't do a whole lot for our score, but that's okay. What else? The G91, a fantastic fighter that I've spent almost no time in before this event. I will have to show you some more of my experiences with the Nord ASM missiles. I'm pretty experienced at CAS compared to most players of the game, and the AS Nord was a piece of equipment that I very quickly became accustomed to and enjoyed greatly. One of the serious improvements that I've seen between the state of air-to-ground missiles today and when they were first introduced is their controllability. They respond a lot more smoothly, they wiggle around a lot less than SAC-LOS ATGMs, so that's very nice and helpful. And if you dive from about 3 to 4K with the G91, spot targets that are shooting at your friends because you're much further away from them than your friends are likely to be in World War mode, you can pick up 2, 3, 4 kills in a single dive and then pull away with all of that speed to get out of the area and pee out of the battlefield. At least that's what I do. I pee out when you get to the extraction point on the map, the little door, don't you know? And that saves your fighter for next time. On a broader note, Germany does very well with their fighters in mixed battles. They're very capable, as I mentioned, using those Nords to take down ground targets. They're not so capable when their fighters are facing off against other fighters. So that's definitely something as a commander you want to keep in mind. Germany doesn't have nearly the amount of bias available in an air-to-air sense in this event. It's very sad to see someone send aircraft after, say, an artillery unit that has, like 130 AA vehicles available, only to have them also get intercepted by enemy fighters and suffer heavy losses for almost no reward. So save those fighters for matches that are just about to start, to get your players into some CAS aircraft. And if you can avoid having the enemy send in anti-aircraft fighters of their own, that works out even better. Same goes for helicopters. You really don't want to send them alone to block or attack an enemy unit. They're far more effective when they have ground forces to distract the enemy. There's a principle in War that does carry over well into War Thunder, and that is the what's it called? I guess it's sort of a variety of threats principle. The idea is the more kinds of threat you put pressure on the enemy with, the more of a return you'll get. In other words, it's better to have 10 tanks, 5 aircraft, and 5 helicopters against an enemy team of, say, 20 tanks, because the enemy has to be aware of the air, the far air, and the ground from all angles, while you also have eyes in the sky to support you. That kind of advantage can really turn the battle in your favor. And you can see we're being somewhat aggressive with the Bow 105 here, knowing that we'll have a respawn and picking up enough kills to justify our existence. We could have even gotten 1 or 2 more. But overall, as with other World War modes, there's a lot of strategy and tactics to be learned. I think almost everything that I mentioned in my other World War mode videos still applies, with the added caveat that the Soviets definitely have better fighters in terms of anti-air, and the Germans have about twice the air-to-ground power in the terms of their G91, the regular tech tree version with the 4 Nord anti-ship missiles. And again, it's best to launch those ASMs from close to outside the effective range of enemy AA. You can tell where they are because enemy AA tends to light up the area with their tracers, and if you dive from around 4K, about 2 kilometers, how would I put it? About 4 or 5 kilometers in total from enemy SPAA. From a reasonable altitude, you can launch a missile, get it on track, and then launch another missile and get that on track. And because they have such a large blast radius against hull breakable SPAA, they are fantastic for taking down enemy anti-aircraft platforms. And if all else fails, you do have your cannons that can shred SPAA as well. Keeping in mind that that is a suicide tactic, it still tends to work fairly well for 1 more kill. Overall, I've been doing very well in individual battles in World War mode. My close air support skills have served me nicely, and the fact that a lot of people are jumping into aircraft that are not really accustomed to flying CAS helps me to get first place definitely more often than I would in regular top tier matches. So, World War mode is a fantastic place to play top tier vehicles in a environment where you'll be facing a lot less skilled and experienced players in general. You will still have some matches where you get shut out, and that's okay, you know, that happens. But there's always a battle going, and I'm still a huge fan of the World War mode meta. It's nice to see it getting some polish. I would love to see the client server stability be improved significantly. In fact, I think that needs to happen. So overall, World War mode is working very well, except for the very real and very frustrating server issues. The meta is not as terrible in terms of being intimidating to a new player as top tier usually is, so it's a great chance to get into playing some top tier vehicles. And because every vehicle that you have access to in the mode comes fully researched, you're able to experience what it would be like if War Thunder didn't have a stock grind, and I've got to say, it's heaven. It's delightful. Anyway, that just about does it for this video as we dodge ATGMs from BMPs the way you do, and hopefully I'll be able to pick up the last little bit of today's event when the World War mode servers go live again. I'll just see what happens. And we dodged another missile. Bo 105. Fantastic little helicopter. By the way, I do have a lot of advice for helicopters for those of you that are new to Whirly Boys or new to the channel, and those are available in other videos. There's a lot to be said about how to use helicopters well, and Bacon Gaming has said most of it. So if you're looking for a guide on something like the Bo 105, which again is doing very well in this event, but I do not expect it to do very well in regular mixed battles because of its high battle rating that it probably doesn't deserve anymore, but that's a subject for another time. So if you're looking for heli advice, I got some heli videos on the channel. I definitely enjoy these aircraft. We're coming in a little hot here, but I decided to go for it. This is not how to land. I mean, it did work out for us though, didn't it? And Bacon Gaming has the best helicopter guides and reviews that I've seen, and he's a nice lad on top of that. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed, and special appreciation to AmFam Squadron, who have been just killing it in World War mode. We're not very competitive, but we have a good time, and you guys are doing great. Catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.